All right, just making sure our friends on Zoom can hear us.
You're good to go.
Looks like it because we're unmuted now. So Danielle is manning the Zoom from College Station. So this is going to be a real fun time. She's got that under control. So we're going to go and call to order, just do quick intros, get our welcomes out. We do have Christina here if you want to say hi from Councilmember Joaquin's office. I'm sorry, Councilmember Martinez. I still can't say that right. We'll go through some brief updates here, and then we'll hear from Park Houston, who's going to talk to us about parking rules and regulations so that we can know how to manage everything moving forward. After that, we'll go through some committee updates. And if you have any community announcements that you want to share, let us know. So like I said, there are some new faces. So thank you for coming. We're very glad that you're here. And we hope that you find the meeting informational and that you return at any time. What part of the neighborhood do you live in? Yeah. Oh, we know these guys. They're always here.
We live on Montgomery Street.
Nice. Okay.
We grew up on Lawson Street my entire life. Got married 5 years ago. I moved down 10 minutes away, and then I built my house.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Well, we're glad that you're here. And we've been cycling, Paul and I and Amy have been cycling all around that area. So we hopefully you've seen us around. So cool. We're glad to have additional feedback here. We brought this up last time, but just so that we can make sure everybody has a fair chance to provide some feedback. The Easton District received a grant from the Federal Highway Administration to review pedestrian and bike safety. We're collecting feedback from residents on where you feel unsafe riding a bike or walking. So I can do the best that I can in terms of, identifying these areas, but it's best to hear from you because you're all over. You do things at different times of the day than I do. So if you want to take a couple minutes to provide some feedback, I would greatly appreciate it because I want to make sure I'm representing you well. So I don't know if anybody has any, I see one person. Make sure Tina has enough time. I want to get your feedback in there for sure. All right, cool. And then of course the super neighborhood, we've been really working on getting reactivated. We had a really great meeting with TxDOT to talk about the 45 realignment project last week. And we're going to continue having some pretty great speakers coming over the next couple of months. But those are just based off of your concerns. So if you want to do the same thing, I watch these. I watch the responses to make sure that I know what is going on, what are some of your concerns so that I can try to serve as best as possible. So
I didn't get it, but I get it.
Sure.
I don't know if we've done with this one.
Oh, I was just getting feedback for the super neighborhood.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back to the other thing.
Yeah.
About the, just as far as the bike and walkability and everything, just be careful what you wish for. Because sometimes what you want is not how it turns out. I'm from Montrose. I think y'all are aware of 11th Street.
Yeah.
Which people thought was going to be great, but it ended up hurting businesses, busting out people's tires and everything. So they need to come up with safe ways for people to walk and for people to bicycle, but they need to remember that the city also has part rides.
Yeah.
Tires and these narrow lanes, they're trying to go to Montrose Boulevard, and it's the whole plan and chop down hundreds and hundreds of mature live oaks.
So I do want to clarify that the things that we're going to be working on are going to be less about major infrastructure projects. We might make recommendations based off of what we see, but they're more about improving signage, improving crosswalk safety, making sure kids can get access to school safely. So adding in sidewalks where there's no sidewalks, that type of information. So it's more about improving it from that perspective. I can go through this at another time. I don't want to take up everybody's time here, but it's the Safe Streets for All program. And so there's a number of different grants that the Easton District has received to help make sure that we're studying everybody's ability to walk through. And it doesn't necessarily mean adding bike lanes. Sometimes it just means improving the signage. Because right now, I'm sure everybody here has seen somebody go down the wrong way at York and Sampson at some point right around Harrisburg. Well, it turns out that's actually what their GPS is telling them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's little things like that where we can tell we can update TransStar, we can update all of this information to go to their GPSs to say, go to the next street and turn the correct direction, however that works. So it's small things like that.
But you bring up a really good point. You're right. It's like
Yeah.
the devil is in the details. A lot of times on the surface, it seems like a great idea. And even bonds that we seem like good ideas, but then later, when we find out the details, that's when it gets us. So to your point, I think it might be a great idea for us to be able to have the opportunity to review the information on it. And then potentially spend some time the next meeting to discuss those issues.
Yeah, so I can,
That same street thing, since you're doing with my street, it sounds good and it is, but it can also include those big mounds of concrete that they put in the corners that narrow the intersection and that block parking. So like you said, you shouldn't be seeing the plans, and get some input.
Yeah. Making sense.
all right,
Will we have opportunity in the upcoming meeting then to discuss some of these things that we will review?
we've been going through a lot of these at the super neighborhood meeting, the Safe Streets for All. And that's part of them bringing that information to me is I'm happy to go through what they're studying, what that looks like, and some of the things that that they're looking to implement. But right now, it's not adding a lot of infrastructure. It's changing signs, making sure crosswalks are visible, making sure signs are visible, and those types of things right now. Because we got to start with the basics. You can't add a lot whenever your basics are not there. All right, so same thing at the super neighborhood. It's really, really quick. So just being able to document, these are where my concerns are, and then there's an open space for feedback. Again, I just want to make sure that I'm doing my best to represent the community and get your feedback, because without that feedback, I'm just playing a little bit of guesswork right here, and that's not fair to anybody.
And how do we provide the feedback?
So in this QR code, it's just a form, and I've documented the main areas that have been a concern in the past, just to determine, are you not concerned about it, or are you very concerned about it? And then at the bottom, there's an open place to provide additional feedback.
Where's the board?
It's, yeah, it's the
the
Bentley.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so Christina, do you want to come say hello?
Fine.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No worries. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Diane Nguyen. I work with Council Member Joaquin Martinez. So not too much that I have to announce, but next Saturday, we're having a coffee with the council member. Our second one, it'll be at Sir Jobs on Telephone. It's from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And there's going to be coffee and pastries that will be provided. It's just a great, more casual opportunity to get to speak to the council member and staff about any concerns you have, or if you just want to get to come and meet them if you haven't already. And, you know, we just want to get feedback from everybody to see how we can make our community better.
Where did you say? Where would it be?
It's Sir Jobs on telephone. Yes, let me look up that.
it's 1710.
Sarah, like.
1710 Telephone Road.
Sorry?
1710 Telephone Road.
So I'm assuming that the road improvements in the 4700 block of Russ are the improvements that Councilmember mentioned to me a few years ago, in which they're kind of had to build up the side of the road and put in the second speed cushion.
I'd have to look into that, quite honestly.
If it
Is it from a few years ago? Or is it,
yes.
if it's from a few years ago, it's going to be, something that the previous council member did, so.
No. Probably, but. hey.
Well, Councilmember Martinez just started January, so it's
I-
something that was like,
But
I
I'm
mean,
just working within that.
sure, yes, but it's something I can definitely look into. So can you give me where it is?
It's 4700 Russ.
Between
47.
I gotta follow it here. Got it. Yep. Can send you that info.
Okay, and then I can give you, what I.
If there's something.
All right, cool. Mason,
Also, I left a flyer out front for coffee with the council member. So if you need to take a picture of it, there's also another QR code if you can register, just so you know who. So we can account for the amount of goods to bring.
Thank you. Hi, y'all. My name is Mason Whiteside. I'm here on behalf of Senator Alvarado's office. I don't have an update to give y'all. I just wanted to come up and introduce myself. I live here in Eastwood. I used to work for the senator a couple of years ago, and I've recently returned to the office, so you'll probably be seeing a lot more of me. Really, the only thing I have to say is it's good to be with you guys, and I look forward to getting to know as many of y'all as I possibly can. Oh, actually, if I could plug two things. If y'all still have lasting damage from the derecho, please come see me about it. I have some FEMA resources that y'all might be interested in. We're talking about the potential of direct cash payments to compensate for damages. We're also working on a project with respect to the trains in the neighborhood, which some of y'all may know something about. If there is an intersection near you or an intersection that's on your commute or an intersection that's on the way to a family member's house, something like that, that is consistently blocked for extended periods of time, do come see me about that. We are taking the time to collect survey responses that we are going to send up to the federal regulator that regulates railroads. A lot of the time, the issue that we've come across is when we bring this up to authorities, either in Austin or in Washington, they say, well, we don't have any complaints stemming from blockages at those intersections. So we're working, obviously there are complaints, we all know. And so we're just working to amplify our own voice and make sure that Union Pacific is being held accountable. Anyway, that's my piece.
Oh, you're good.
I have a question.
Shoot. Sorry, what's your name, sir?
My name is Paul.
Paul, it's good to meet you.
Thank you, John. Answer the question. So there is a proposal statewide that any person running for statewide office would need to win the majority of the counties. A simple majority of votes.
Right.
To statewide office. Do you have any information on that, or is that?
I have heard, this is speculation and dust. I have heard rumblings about that. I know that it does exist or has existed in other states. I don't know of any legislation that's been drafted or filed to that end. And I don't know of any legislators who are in favor of that. But I do know what you're talking about.
I'm sure there are some.
I'm gonna decline to speculate any further. But I am aware of what you're talking about, and I don't think I'd be out of turn in saying that the senator would be vehemently opposed to any proposal like that.
I'm sure you will.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on here. We're not gonna go through like a specific safety update from HPD or precinct 6, but we'll briefly cover the safety committee and what we've been working on. But just a reminder, the non-emergency dispatch is 713-884-3131, and that's just something to have available if you have you need to contact HPD, but it's not an emergency. I just want to make sure that everybody has that number. And the same thing with precinct 6. If you, oh, sure. Sure. No, you're good. You're good. Thanks for telling me. I tend to talk really, really fast. I apologize. Yep. You got it?
And then the other one should be also noted.
Not necessarily, because if you get through the non-emergency dispatch, you're going to get what you need. But if you happen to need to contact the substation, that's the substation for us. It's the South Central on St. E. And then the constable's number, it's just good to have these on hand. So for any reason you need the constable's assistance, HPD is unable to come out in time. They can usually come out in just a few minutes. So 713-274-3400. So that's just up to you if you want to take that down. Polani is unable to be here. She had to show some homes, but she did share the current balance with all accounts. Ready, making sure Kyle's ready to take the number. $23,937.61.
Where did $4,000 going, wasn't it 27 last month?
It was Spring Fiesta. to put together Spring Fiesta. So getting all of the food, getting all the ice cream, getting all of the, everything set up from there. The trees were donated. We already had the flags, but everything from there, it usually takes quite a bit of effort. Kyle, did you want to go through the meeting minutes
Sure.
very quickly?
Yes, Edward is our usual secretary, he's at a high school graduation. So he's a teacher. Okay, so last month, we had intros, that was be a May 6th meeting. We had intros, then we had, elected officials spoke for a good while, and then we had people from Councilmember Martinez's office. We had Frank Gonzalez from Sylvia Garcia's office. And then we had a keynote speaker who was Sergeant Hutchison from the Animal Cruelty Unit. And that was probably a, I don't know, 30-minute presentation. Followed by Jesse Carballo from the Houston Department of Neighborhoods. And then we had a brief, toward the very end, we had a representative from the Houston Public Libraries come and talk, and also Mahmoud Mansour from the Buffalo Bayou Partnership. And then we adjourned. It was pretty straightforward. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move to Park Houston. I'm going to get this pulled up for you. Yeah, come on up. You've used the map before, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to do that or scroll.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cassandra Hanford, and I'm with Park Houston. I'm one of the regulatory supervisors. I've been with the department a little over 17 years, so I got a lot of knowledge of the parking industry. So I'm here to go over all the different parking regulations that we do enforce in Houston. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the presentation, and then once the presentation is over, whatever questions that y'all wanna ask, you feel free to ask. I'm gonna go ahead and start. Okay, Park Houston is committed to supporting public safety, quality of life, economic development, and sustainability for all Houstons. I'm getting a little tongue tied. As the solution, focused division of the Administration and Regulatory Affairs Department with the City of Houston. We service and maintain over 10,000 parking spaces across the city. When you stay connected to Park Houston, you will learn tips and educate yourself. Let's go from no park to no parking. Visit at houstontx.gov parking to learn. Yes.
I can do this for you.
Thank you so much. Okay, how many of y'all used our Park Houston mobile? Was it friendly to use? Was it easy to use? Or was it okay? Huh?
I've been using it for a while.
Okay, great. So with our Park Houston app, it alerts you before your session expires. You can add more time from your phone. So if you have a meeting that you're attending, you don't have to go downstairs, go into the meeting and find change to go and feed it. You can actually do it from your phone, and it'll add time to your parking meter.
So what's the upside of using that one versus the mobile park on the?
It's not different, same thing. Yeah, once you use it, you go up to it, you'll put your information in, and then it'll come straight to our handheld. So we have our phone. We don't have no handheld, we use our cell phone. So once you put your license plate in there and put all your information, it'll alert to us, and once our officer goes on the beat and they put your license plate number in, it'll immediately tell us, don't ticket this car, we have time. So that's how we enforce it. Neighborhood parking safety. Okay, so how many of y'all know that you cannot block your side? Okay, keep the sidewalk clear. Do not park in the driveway and block your sidewalk. keep keep your neighborhood safe for pedestrians. So you may have somebody like,
Like agree and all that stuff, but we have like on some of the sidewalks in the neighborhood, I can't walk them.
you can walk in due to the storm that just happened. That's probably, yeah, so you can, you know, the 311 number. You can call 311 and you can let them know that you still got some debris in the area. And they can come out and send somebody to take care of that. They're probably, moving a little slower because they're going from different neighborhoods trying to get them most of the debris that they have. Yeah, they haven't gotten to it. Yeah.
If y'all don't mind, could you hold your questions until the end, just to make sure we have enough time to get to our speaker today? And she'll stay back if you have specific questions, but she might answer your question in the presentation.
Okay, so park 20 feet from the intersection. You gotta make sure that you do not, so I know y'all know what a crosswalk is. You don't have to have a line and someone has to have, will have a line. You gotta make sure you're 20 feet from the crosswalk. So if you see it and you park right next to it, you might wanna move it to a little closer away from it. Also,
Go back.
yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. Okay, also, you need to be 30 feet from the stop sign. At least 2 to 3 car lengths. You cannot park right up on the stop sign as well. Okay. You need to be parked 15 feet from a fire hydrant. This provides clear access in the case of an emergency. So we all know if we're blocking a fire hydrant, you already know if the fire department comes through, you know what's gonna happen from there. So just make sure you're not blocking the fire hydrant. Okay, so abandoned vehicles, this is cars parked on the street, they must move within the 24 hours. If your vehicle is not abandoned, please move it to your private property. So it's been, if you have an abandoned vehicle that you have and it's not working, just make sure you don't leave it on the street for more than 24 hours. And also if you, come out and you see another abandoned vehicle that's not yours and it's parked across the neighborhood or down the street, and you come home every day and you see that same broke down car every day, you can put a 311 request in there to get that vehicle moved. So if they're on the, so our officers, when we come out the first time, we chalk the vehicle. And then when we come back the second day, we give the first citation if it hadn't moved. And then we come out the third day and give it the second ticket. And if it hadn't moved, we then tow that vehicle off of the street. Okay, large commercial vehicle parking violations. Large vehicles may not park on any street in a residential district except for loading and unloading. It shall be unlawful for any person to park a trailer, semi-trailer, large vehicle, pole trailer, or house trailer, either attached or unattached, to a motor vehicle on the public streets of the city for a period of a time in excess of 2 hours. May park while loading and unloading. Parking commercial vehicles in a public street is prohibited between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. So if there's a large vehicle that's parked in the neighborhood and we come out and we do enforce the area, the large vehicle ticket is APK 41, you receive $150 ticket for parking a large vehicle neighborhood. And with the trailer, as well, if you have a trailer parked in the neighborhood, you will receive a ticket for $150. And then this is just basically our 301 app where you can just report, like I was saying, different violations in your area. If somebody blocking the fire hydrant, stop sign, crosswalk, abandoned vehicle, blocking the crosswalk, you can call and report it. You can be anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You can just let them know that I do have this vehicle that's abandoned. And then you give them the description of the car, the make, the model. And then when our officers get to the 301 request, we come out and we enforce that, the violation that you report. And that's the number, of course, everybody knows that's the number to call. So
Cool.
I think that is it.
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
I was pushing down, and it's going down.
Yeah, okay,
Questions.
oh, does anybody have any questions?
Yes. What is the tow trailer? And I'm assuming the large trailer would apply to, like, both as well.
Yeah, boats as well. Even if you have your truck and you have a trailer attached to your truck, that's considered a large vehicle as well. So you need to make sure it's unhooked, it's attached, because we can cite you for that. And a pole trailer, yeah, it's just a large vehicle that, you know, is in the neighborhood.
I have a question about parking close to stop signs.
Mhm.
We have one intersection in the neighborhood, kind of intersects at an acute angle.
Mhm.
So on one side of the street, if you were to measure out 30 feet from that stop sign, it's, not the same as 30 feet from where the other side of the street would touch that intersection because it comes out further. Is it measured 30 feet from the actual stop sign itself or 30 feet from the edge of that curve to that side of the intersection?
So it's a good question. It's the 30 feet from the stop sign itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to clear it. We always, when the citizens ask me, where to go, how many feet? And I normally say, walk it off, not in my feet, turn it in the largest, I would walk it off or get your measuring tape, but, definitely 30 feet from the stop sign.
Okay, so maybe, splitting hairs here, but when you say 30 feet, is that the bumper of the car or the front tires or
The front bumper of the car.
the front?
Yeah, so, I'm sorry.
We have a problem where on one side, I live in the 4700 block on one side is no parking. But right next to my driveway is the fire hydrant. I thought it was 5 feet, but I've been driving for a few years.
Yeah.
This 15 feet, that's almost an entire block. Block line.
Yeah, it's definitely 15 feet from the fire hydrant, and like I said,
When did it change?
I don't know, I mean, I've been with the company a little over 17 years, and yeah, since I've been with them, it's been 15 feet, yes, ma'am.
I mean, it would take up a good portion of my frontage, which you can park on my side. Is it 15 down the middle or is it 15 on both sides?
Just 15 on the one side of that vehicle parking, so if they're on
No, we would have both sides. I mean, it's not 15 feet from the fire hydrant
In other words, it's not 7.5 feet
each
on
way.
either side.
Oh, yeah. So,
15?
yes, ma'am.
That doesn't make sense when we have one side of the street is not, no parking.
Yeah.
Take it up with the council.
I get that.
Ma'am, oh, no, you have to get it.
Okay. My neighbor has a long sprinter van and he got a ticket for parking on the street, like the Amazon truck is 25. I think the law is 24 feet. But my question is, I was at the Arboretum and the night that the retro thing came in, watching the trees. And I was really surprised that a public city facility has paid parking. But what really upset me is that you had to have that app thing. And it used to be you could go to a parking meter or something and pay with my credit card. Okay, I'm old, I don't get that stuff. I got a cheap cell phone with limited storage. I don't want a lot of apps on there. So what's the option?
So you can still go up to the meter and pay the meter, because it's
There
here.
weren't meters at the Arboretum.
Oh,
There
it's
was
no
just
meters?
signs saying
Oh.
that you had to be a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that one, yeah, I don't know about, yeah, because when you said it didn't have any users, yeah, we have to do that.
I've seen meters at the Arboretum. I don't know where far.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed it for all the rain.
It could be.
Yeah,
I've seen.
Okay, all right, that's for sure.
yes.
If I remember correctly, the meter at the Arboretum works for every parking space in the Arboretum, so you don't have to.
Yeah, well, the different.
And unlike the blocks downtown where you have to put in a specific number on whatever block that you're on, it's for the entire Arboretum.
Okay, so I can still use my charter.
Yes.
Okay.
We've got a no parking sign across the street from our house. That has got to be 50 feet from the intersection. And I don't understand that. Do we just call somebody to get an explanation or whatever?
Yes, sir. You definitely, yeah, reach out to, 311, call the number that's down here. And you can just, speak with PW and ask the question,
It's the one on our side of the street,
Yes.
it's got a stop sign. And there's a no parking sign, it's gotta be 25 feet or so from the stop sign. But the other side of the street, the no parking sign is at least twice that distance from the intersection. And of course, that's traffic going the other direction, so it doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can reach out to them, and if you definitely need enforcement, you know, like parking, you can come out and just.
People tend to go along with it, but as she was saying, just a minute ago, that sign takes up an entire oversized lot. Plus into the next.
And what's the location, right there?
This is at the intersection of, Rusk and Eastwood.
Come out, we can take a look as well. You know, kind of see what I can do.
Appreciate that.
Oh,
What it does is bunches all the cars up.
yeah.
They wind up taking up their neighbors. Yes, spots and whatever. And it just doesn't seem to make sense. It's not that far away. Sorry?
Does it seem like it's an official next time?
No, it's official. It looks just like one.
Rebecca, do you want them to also come out and evaluate
Not mine.
your, oh, okay, I was just making.
Yeah.
I was just making sure. You're, if you're happy with it, you're good, you're content.
If there's anyone else, please let me know now.
Is there a way you can request the parking signs? I live in Montrose, close to the gay bars, and on a big bar night, they park like all over, right up to the nose of stop sign corners. I kind of don't mind it because we need parking in the neighborhood, but I hate when they get tickets, and I'm like, why don't we help people instead of, you know, punishing when they fail, help them to succeed? If there was a stop sign, then they would know that they can't park.
Yes, ma'am.
How would we get a stop sign?
Yeah, so, dial the 701, PW, they'll come out, they'll look at the street, you know, they'll measure, see if they are able to come, or will they come out and put sign in. If they will, then yes, so I've been to several areas to where we're writing tickets for no parking to the corner, or they're, giving them tickets, like a lot of tickets. And then all of a sudden, I'm sorry, not parking. We'll give them tickets for crosswalks. And so we'll go to certain areas and we're giving like 20, 30 crosswalks within a week. And I guess, after getting enough tickets, they called PW meeting and they came out and put no parking to the corner sign. So they're like, okay, now you can see this sign that says no parking to the corner versus, I don't know how many people you come across. So yeah, they can't put it on.
All right, and then I think that there is one question on Zoom. I see a hand raised.
Yes, Lindsay, there is. I'm wondering if it doesn't seem like it's very effective to call 311 when you have a neighbor that's blocking the sidewalk in their driveway. Is there a way to just inform the neighbor, like leave, does Park Houston have flyers or anything that we could leave as a friendly reminder to our neighbors who are blocking sidewalks that they're not supposed to do that and that they should be moving their car to their full property?
Well, we don't have any flyers to put on there, but if we can, if the citizen is outside, we can educate them and let them know that they can't the sidewalk.
But there's nothing we as a civic association could do to get the word out when we see that beyond calling 311.
Have extras of these that at some point you could send us.
Yeah, sure. I can get, when I go back,
Yeah,
in the morning,
if you
I
want to
can
send,
it.
yeah, if you want to send those to us, then maybe we can get some printed. And Danielle, I know that you can't see it, but she's got like a little
Yeah.
handout with some of, like, it's a small one you could drop on somebody's windshield wipers.
Yeah, I'd rather do a friendly reminder than call 311. So
Oh, sorry.
What's the fine for parking across the sidewalk?
40.
$40?
Yes, $40. I'm sorry.
I did from the neighbor because they continue to block the sidewalk every day. And her response was, nobody uses my sidewalk.
Okay, well, you can just, you can send a request and we'll come out and give a ticket and then she'll find out that you can't walk in our walk there. Oh, you walk there? Yeah, and that's what we get a lot. This is my sidewalk and I should be able to park over my sidewalk, but I always tell the citizens from the sidewalk to the street is the thing right. We can't ride with the driveway or not. Yes, ma'am.
And then you're the last, I'm just saying you're the last one. You can ask your question. I'm just saying you're the last one because we can move on.
I have a person that's been parking close to the intersection of Eddington and Polk. And when the fire engine tries to make a turn there, there's another vehicle there, they can't make the turn.
Yeah, and that's,
Take care of that.
they come out that way a lot down there.
On that same corner, there's a tree limb. And that's the reason why people move over, they don't want that limb falling on them.
Mhm.
We had an incident, my wife and I were looking at today. First, guy came in parked almost mid-street, and there was a person trying to turn left there, over the fire station. And they had some words, and the guy explained that the limb was hanging on top of that corner, and he didn't want that limb falling off. So they just shook hands like that, okay, they let it go, let the pickup pushing them, hurry up, get out of the way, you know.
Mhm.
He was in the street on Polk Street, trying to make these guys move, they were talking. Take care of that.
Okay, and you said that parking lot at the intersection, I mean, the corner. You have the address?
Well, and then
Okay, we can go by there and look at the.
The real problem is treatment.
What's the tree being like?
They haven't cut it to your street.
Okay, when I go and I look into it, I can think we're gonna come out and see if they can help with it.
I took a note.
Oh, you
so we
did?
can-
Perfect.
Yeah, I took it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
take-
taking notes on anything, so,
Thank
but you can stay back for a few minutes to answer additional questions if there are any, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect, okay,
Okay. All right, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right. So I see precinct 6 is here. We do want to be able to go through some committee updates, but you can come and speak for about 5 minutes. You good? Not trying to time box you, but we don't want our meetings to run way too long. Cool.
How's it going, guys? I'm Deputy V-Bar. I'm with Harris County Constable Office Precinct 6. I'm one of the patrol deputies. You're the ones that can see me drive around all the time. Not only that, I am one of the field training officers, so I do train the rookies. I try to show them how important it is to have community engagement, you know, because at the end of the day, y'all are our eyes, you know. Y'all let us know what's going on. All y'all 311 requests, we get those a lot too. They bring to our attention a lot, or they're blocking sidewalks, all that. Not only can they enforce it, we could also enforce that. We'll try to make contact on y'all's behalf, what's going on, hey, you're blocking the driveway, I mean, sidewalk, whatever it may be, move that vehicle. If they don't listen to us, we got a record, a little bit more effective than a ticket, because after that, I guarantee they're gonna park it, you know. But, not only that, I'm also one of the alert instructors, so for, what that stands for is Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training. We respond to any high priority calls such as, school shootings, churches, wherever it may be. I'm one of the instructors for that as well. That way, I make sure all the new rookies coming in, as well as seasoned officers, are trained up to par, and we can keep our community safe. Because a lot of us officers do live in the community as well. So we take it serious, our community engagement, you know, want to make sure we're up to date. But pretty much, I don't want to hold too much time. Whatever y'all need, I mean, if y'all need to reach out to us for any questions, you're more than welcome to at our dispatch number. We also do patrol requests. So for example, if you're noticing a lot of break-ins in the area, y'all have possibly going on vacation watch, y'all need somebody to watch our house for about a week, we can do all that. You know, you can always reach out to us. If you want our dispatch number to write down directly instead of contacting 911 or HPD's non-emergency, it's gonna be 713-274-3400. Like I said, that's our dispatch number. Non-emergency dispatch, whatever it may be. If you have life-threatening emergency, I would recommend contacting 911. But if something that can wait a little bit, for example, you might try to keep your door down. Call us, I guarantee you'll have a quick response time. I'm not trying to downplay HPD, whatever it may be, but they are tied up with a lot of 911 emergency calls. So usually we're freed up and we'll be able to respond quickly. Yes, sir.
I have one question. Next month, we've got July 4th.
Mhm.
Do we call you or do we call HPD on firecrackers? Because we have a big
You
problem
call-
with firecrackers.
You call both of us, typically we'll go out there, we'll make contact, we'll advise them that they're not supposed to do that, it is a crime, ticket. But, for the most part, regardless, us just going out there and talking to them, they'll calm down. You know, we understand it's holidays, festivities, but there's a danger to actually lighting trees or.
Which is the law
Yeah.
inside the city of Houston. That's
Correct.
why we call the city of Houston.
Correct.
Police Department.
We call both of us, we'll both take care of it, you know. Sir, you got a question?
Yeah, I wanted to commend you for answering my call, but I called HPD.
Uh-huh.
They never came out. I had somebody banging on my front door. Wanted some help supposedly. He didn't have a shirt on, had some underwear on. He sat on my on my porch and I swing. I need to use the phone, I need it, so on, so on. So I called HPD, never got a response. And one of your guys came up. He moved before they got there.
That sounds familiar. I might have been the one to respond to that. That sounds real familiar. Is it?
Quick question about emergency response. We've had a underpass at Polk Street,
Mhm.
which has flooded twice in the past month.
But I removed the vehicle that recently was
Yeah,
flooded under there.
so that happens every time there's one of these heavy rain events. Is precinct 6, do they have a plan in place? Can they put a plan in place if they don't? To block that street to keep cars
From going under.
from going under
So-
events like this?
So I
I'm
know,
not trying to speak ahead of you on this, but they did put barricades there so that I mean, I could run out to one and put one up and
Right.
we could tag team that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
I know use of mobility response, if you bring it up to them, sometimes they'll come out there and actually block the street off.
Mhm.
If not, if you contact us, and it's enough of a problem, we will be out there as well and block those streets off.
Okay,
Uh,
so, cut you off right there because not the last one, but the previous one. I did call and they told me to call HPD mobility and
Mhm.
they didn't come.
They didn't
so,
come.
no.
Yeah, if anything, call us again, let them know what happened and
Well,
then
there's,
we'll try to
now
take care of it.
Lindsay's telling me there's equipment there, so
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
can.
I mean, I'm happy to run out there. I don't mind.
And then if you go out there, just give us a call and we'll actually put our lights so they don't.
Well, I'll tell you, I stood there and they drove right past me anyway,
Oh,
so
when I was removing the vehicle that was
Not-
definitely flooded.
I'm an easy person to miss.
They almost hit me too. They almost hit me too, and I had my lights on, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, like.
Sorry.
I guess a lot of times we know these events are gonna happen.
Mhm.
Is that something like we can have a plan in place for such an event?
I can bring it up to my command staff,
Could you please?
let them know. I'll be more than happy to relay that information. I'm sure the plans we already have set in place
Mhm.
are actually calling in off-duty units. I was one of the ones that was off, and I got called in to actually come in to assist. I was patrolling the blacked out areas
Mhm.
with my lights on, just so people could see we're actually out there trying to turn any crime. So we have a few plans in place,
Okay.
but, I mean, I'm more than happy to relay that as well.
The Polk underpass and the one at the highway are the two big ones. I mean, I
The
don't
Polk
know
one
what
next to
people-
Kroger, correct?
That was right by Kroger.
60
Correct.
years,
Yeah.
I've met my ex-husband.
In particular, on this last one, the director, there's warning signs at 2 places, but the director turned them backwards.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
so there are flashing lights, there are flood gauges, there are these in place, but the director turned these around. We've already reported it, but they've turned them around, so that's just an additional thing to consider. Are you willing to stay back? People have questions for just a few
Yeah,
minutes?
I got time.
Okay, cool.
What was it? The
It's
free,
Polk and Milby.
I got that one. I'm
The other one was
45.
I-45.
45 mark.
Isn't that the one where the mother and the daughter both drowned? The one on 45?
Maybe, I don't know.
I can't remember offhand.
Right at the railroad track. Yeah, at 45, and it was the underpass going under the,
Sure.
railroad that crosses there.
It would be
And
Eastville.
Mother and daughter both lost
Well, if it's
their
at 45 in
lives.
Lockwood, it would be the West Belt. It would be the West Belt. Yeah, I've got these jotted down too, so I can reach out to your team.
Yeah, that's, and then pretty much I relay a lot of information to whatever that we get, I'm already tracking.
Yeah, send it on over when you're
That's
good.
perfect.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
You wanna,
Yeah, just hang around for a
Yeah,
few minutes.
okay.
If you have any follow-up questions that we didn't get to, like I said, we want to get through some committee updates. Just hang out. Who's going to hang out with the,
so I got a call. I'll hang up.
all right. So coming back here, David Borg was going to come, but I think he may have gotten tied up. The reason why I wanted to just at least introduce David Borg is he was working with our safety committee on making improvements to our area and defining an emergency response for our neighborhood specifically. We were working on that for hurricane season, and then we had this lovely storm called Derecho that came and expedited this process. So he's going to be working with our safety committee. He's already outlined a plan, a response plans, how we can identify he's already identified streets with potential tree issues, places we can put debris, and all of these. So we're going to be meeting with him to work on how we can activate that plan. And part of that includes just working together on clearing our curbs, making sure our gutters are completely clear so we don't see additional, flooding issues, looking at where we can trim some trees that may be near power lines and just working through that process with him. He reviewed that with Houston Fire. So they've already gone through and reviewed that with him. And it's a pretty sound plan. So we're going to be working with him as our safety committee to try to identify how as a community we can work together to be a lot stronger from a emergency response.
I have a question about that when you're talking about power lines and trees. A lot of our power lines are running in the backyards where they butt up, and how are they gonna get access to private? I mean, these.
Their point was pretty quick this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they quickly get on, but they're not quickly clear of all of that debris that is.
So part of that is considered easement, and whenever it's easement, they should be able to have access to your backyard in order to do that. Now, some people I know don't allow it.
I'm just saying.
Hopefully.
With these two gates that are up that are electronic, they've shut them down, how are they gonna get back there? And this is stuff that we need to educate everybody.
Right.
Is they have to have access to clear those so that we don't have as many power outages and things like that.
Yeah, so
Because that's what's causing it is these trees falling on those lines that are up towards the top. The lines are the ones at the bottom. It's the ones up top that are carrying the electricity.
Yep.
It's the ones on the bottom, it's your cable and phones.
I know my lines are in the back, and some point, not on the board, and I left a note, and they can trim. And they even ask, even as neighbors, how they never made any information. So I think they made an investment. They contact.
I'm not so sure it's neighbors. That take care of it. It's their responsibility to make sure that their lines are also clear and that. The call and say, hey, that's stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can we do something to reach out to, the neighbors in general, just to say, make sure that you are aware that this is your responsibility.
right. That's part of our plan, is so that we can actually communicate with residents on what we need to do together. And part of that, and if you can't get assistance or you're just unable to do that, then we can find volunteers to help. There's lots of different opportunities here, but a big chunk of that is education.
Do you have a communication plan?
Not yet, because we literally have not met on this yet. So the idea is that we're going to meet on it. We're going to establish how we can work together and then roll that out.
But in general, the communication plan for things, for example, like that, but other things that you need to communicate with the community about.
I mean, that's the idea, is that once we are able to establish what we want to communicate, then yeah, we'll be working with the civic association. We'll determine we'll activate block captains to be able to walk around, talk to people. And then we'll also be sharing that through Nextdoor, online, everything.
I think it might be a cart and horse kind of situation.
Right.
Because you need to establish a communication plan so that when these needs arise, you'll be ready to do it.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's all a part of the plan that we're working on together.
I know we've talked about this many times.
It's okay. Okay, so moving on here, we have some committee updates. I know that Danielle is on Zoom. I don't know, Danielle, if you're comfortable speaking to special events over Zoom.
Yeah, is the volume okay that it's effective?
You're pretty loud.
Awesome. So we're hoping to host our second coffee and conversations on Saturday, June 29th at 8:30 a.m. It's tentatively scheduled for Coral Sword, but I do need to confirm the location. So watch your inbox for an email from us about that, or follow us on socials. The topic for our coffee and conversations is going to be about sharing post-storm resources. So your favorite tree trimmer, the plumber that you like to work with, the electrician that's local and can get over quickly to solve issues in your home, what you learned through the derecho in your own neighborhood. It's just about building connections amongst the community members and sharing those resources. It will be informal, as it was the first time, a chance to get your neighbors, get to know your neighbors a little better, and have more of a chance to dialogue and talk than we typically get to do in our meeting setup. So again, Saturday, June 29th, 8:30 to 10 at Coral Sword on Telephone Road. Confirmation of that should be coming this weekend. I hope to see you there. We'll have free coffee for everyone, and typically we bring some pastries.
So communications, I don't know if Catherine's busy right now. We'll give her a minute. We can come back to her. So trains, always something going on with trains. We actually have the railroads have offered to take us to dinner. We'll see how that goes, where I get to poke them in person. And also I did go to city council to speak about the issues that we are seeing. We did get the mayor's attention. If you want to watch it, happy to play it, but the mayor did interact with us and share that they are looking at ways to work on federal grants in order to safely pass the trains. That's really what we've been trying to do, because we have just documented issues of children crawling through trains and mothers with babies crawling through trains. And it's just something that we have to have a safe passage around trains. However that looks, I don't know, but there's lots of federal dollars that are out there. And that's just the message that we've been continuing to communicate, is we have to get around these trains very safely. So whatever that looks like, I know that the mayor's office is looking into this now. And we've also gotten additional people at the federal level looking at this as well. April 30th. And I'm happy to send this link to you. Like I said, if you want to watch it, we can, but I just want to be mindful of everybody's time. You don't have to, but I'm happy to send it to you.
We can look it up ourselves.
Yeah, you can. It's April 30th and it starts about the 40-minute mark. I know that home tour Aaron is unfortunately not feeling well, so we're going to go ahead and move on to here. So safety is something that Sarah Gutierrez and I work together on as co-chairs, and we have Paul and Amy in here who are also a part of the committee. We've also just added David Borg and Thomas Simpson. So what we do is we're trying to address as many safety concerns in the area as we can. And so it started as pretty simple. We were riding around looking for areas of illegal dumping, documenting that, street conditions that are poor, documenting that. Anybody we got one part cleanup done. We have another part cleanup in place. So we're just going through the entire boundaries of areas that we can improve safety for everybody. So we started there, and then now we're going to start. Paul and I just rode around another last weekend, trying to collect as many storm debris. Everybody who's got their storm debris laid out on their curb. We got about 10 miles done of cycling through the area, just documenting as many as we could so that the city does not forget us. So that's something we did. We went through all the streets of Eastwood, went over to Broadmoor, took care of all of those. We went all the way to, we were all over the place that day, but we're not done yet. I submitted about 100 reports. We're not done yet. We're going to probably go back out and capture the streets we didn't get on. But that's the idea, is that we're working on trying to document all of these so that the city just doesn't conveniently forget areas that we need picked up. So that's something that we've been working on recently. And then after that, like I said, we're going to start working with David Borg on emergency response. In addition to that, I know Amy and I are going to be taking the FEMA certification so that we can go through and understand the best ways, resources that are available, and then to bolster that emergency response. Just because this is supposed to be a very yucky hurricane season, and we just need our ducks in a row. So that's something that Amy and I are working on. And then with David Borg's plan, you should be hearing from us pretty soon.
I guess it was you, pulled the group together to go over to the school where the debris and so forth. We wound up with what, 7, 8 people?
Yeah, there were seven volunteers and the 3 custodians.
And just a little bit about that. There are 3 custodians over there, and the tools that they have to work with, the brooms, dustpans, and mops. And it seems as though the district expected them to clean up that school on a weekend, to get it ready for students on Monday. And one of the worst situations was one of the entry paths into the school had like half an oak tree laying over it. And we managed to get a group together, and a lot of cleanup was done out there that day. First of all, it's unreasonable for the school to expect custodians on a weekend to deal with storm damage, as opposed to putting a crew out there that's capable of doing that. But in place of that, I know it was kind of a personal effort on your part to get people to show up and do cleanup, and that's fine. But in a neighborhood the size of ours, it seems that we could have a little standby army cleanup people who volunteer ahead of time and say when something like that is needed, you know, be sure and shoot me an email. You don't have to email everybody, but
Sure.
anybody that volunteers is willing to do that work. If we have a list, maybe a group email, those volunteers, then it'd be a little quicker and a little easier to get a group of people together and go attack a situation
Sure.
like what we had with that school.
Yeah, and I would like to be able to open this up, like the situation at Land Trip really was heartbreaking. So we got started on that one right away. But we also want to be able to extend that to somebody who maybe seniors who don't have the capability to, you know, to cut down a tree, right? You know, that, you know, and just being able to help out all of our neighbors. That's really what we're trying to do. So I just documented that as a action item for us.
That's all. I just kind of call that a reactionary.
So what had happened is we were,
How did that request go out?
I put it on Nextdoor, I put it on text message, I text messaged just about everybody I could at that particular time. Because it was last minute, right? So it was something that we couldn't necessarily get an email prepared for or put it on socials or anything. It was just trying to like gather people at that moment in time. Because we were riding around looking to assess to make sure everybody was okay, make sure everybody had power, make sure like the bulk of it was picked up and that we could see where we could help. And that's when Amy stumbled on the 3 custodians out there with brooms trying to sweep up the entire parking lot, and they had the entire school area to. So we had a number of residents who came out and helped put everything, get the debris collected so that they could get rid of it. We had blowers out there to clear off the playground areas, everything we could find to help them. And we got quite a bit accomplished. We were out there for a couple hours. Getting destroyed by mosquitoes.
My daughter that lives on the flip side as well. She has one of those big tree cutters,
Mhm.
but it does like this. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's like-
Is it like
I don't
it's late in the
know.
day?
But you know, if there are neighbors that have them, because with this latest round of, they were saying that they had to be no more than 12 inches long for them to be picked up by the city. You can't leave the yes.
Yeah, so that's just really good information for us to know, especially if we know that maybe Diane will want to come help. She'll just give you the, hey, helping is providing equipment, so I'll take it. I will take it.
I think a great continuous thing and setting aside like mails or mobile phone numbers to send out these mass updates to people would be great. I didn't know about it, but yeah, that's where I'm glad y'all think.
A lot of people will do the work, so they just know things exactly, and some
Yeah.
people that really do the work, they have tools.
Yeah.
And other people don't have any tools, but they'll lend a hand.
Sure.
So you just either volunteer manpower or tools or both.
I took this FEMA training, the online course already, and part of that is kind of having like a mobilization response, like knowing who has what, knowing who does where, kind of knowing your resources and being able to call on them when you need them, right?
Sure.
Yeah. When you arise. So I think that's a great thing.
Yep. Got it. All right, so Matthew is unfortunately traveling today, so I would love to say that there's a major BRT update, but there's not.
I think there,
Well,
and it's like it's gonna go away.
I'm not going to contribute to any speculation.
Well, I'm gonna-
But what we know is that all of our connections with the board have indicated that they are not meeting about this project. So that's what we know. That's all I've got. I do know that they've pulled it off the site. And that's all I know. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to speculate. We have asked ad nauseum. Does this mean, can we get confirmation? Is this going? Is this not going? What's going on? And everybody has just kind of left it and said, we don't know. It's not on the agenda.
Mayor does not like it. And he put 5 people, is it 5 people on the metro board?
5 of 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but I
he
mean,
put-
he's got
yeah.
the-
Yep. So that's where we are on this, which is pretty much, we don't know. So the BRTs,
Dig a hole underneath there.
it's a conversation, like, we can talk to you offline about like what it is, but I mean, the TLDR, too long didn't read, is that they had a
Bus rapid transit, BRT stands for bus rapid transit, and it's a plan that Metro had in place, and it's partially implemented, and it has been at least paused. It had planned to lay concrete along the median between all the way up to Tidwell, taking out all the trees there to lay a dedicated concrete pathway for buses to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's been a nutshell.
Yeah, so it was the line that it was going to come through the universities up Blockwood into Fifth Ward. And so as of right now,
I'll look into the details.
you're fine, you're fine. That's what these meetings are about, right? So I do know that there is a new beautification task force, and some of the ideas that are coming into that is getting some trees for Houston, to donate some trees and work with homeowners to see if we can plant those trees so we can continue our tree-lined streets. And then also I know the beautification task force, as far as I know Everett's, he's at a graduation, which is a great place to be. That one of the things they've also been working on is preparing a grant application package, so that when we start getting grants opportunities, we can submit for those to get things like a pathway up the park esplanade, that like, kind of like the one they have in Heights Boulevard, where it's like that crushed granite path, and they've got the flowers and all of the cool things. So that's just something that may come up. I think that there's a quote on that, I think.
Mostly right now, it's just
For-
idea gathering.
Gathering.
For people what they would like. If you'd like to be involved with the beautification group, I believe Everett has a kind of collection survey that he's.
Yeah, it's on here.
So that's the idea, is if you have a great idea that would make Eastwood a prettier place or a nicer place to be, let them know.
Yeah, there's different grant opportunities that do come up, but you have to have everything prepared. You have to have letters of support. You have to be able to vote on it. You have to show that you talk to members about it. You have to have quotes. You have to have everything ready to go. So if we start preparing all of that now, when a grant application does come up, we can submit that and have everything ready. And so you're gonna have support from the super neighborhood. You're gonna have support from Councilmember Martinez's office. Like, that's two huge areas that you're already going to get support on these types of projects. So if we have everything ready to go, because usually when the application window comes up, it's only like 2 weeks, and that's just not enough time for volunteers to put that information together. So if we have it ready, we can submit.
Lindsay, were you also accepting volunteers for any other of the committees?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, you said you want to join beautification?
No, I said, are you also accepting volunteers for any of the other committees or only for beautification?
So I think we don't accept them for special events, because that's for us to do special events for everybody. Trains can accept people, beautification can accept people, safety can accept people, and home tour.
Can BRT accept people?
Well, it's just Matthew right now, just relaying information right now.
So no, everything but BRT.
It's because it's not a committee.
It's not.
It's not a committee. We're just trying to make sure we inform as best we can, but there's no committee on it.
Okay, there's no.
All right, so just really quick, I know we've talked a little bit about this. Reporting on 311, I know that Park Houston has talked about this. You heard this from Precinct 6. I'm happy to give you a tutorial on how to report on 311. It is a really helpful tool, and the reason why I keep talking about this, I feel like I'm talking about this ad nauseum, and I'm sorry, but not sorry. We have, when Councilmember Martinez came in, and I started working with the Department of Neighborhoods, they said that our area is underreported for problems. And so kind of coming back to what Mason was saying before, if we can say, hey, there's a problem, but if there's no data to back it up, there's no paper trails to back it up, there's no reporting, we can't get money allocated to fix the problems. And so that's why we're going around trying to find ways to report everything that we can. We're sticking to things like missed recycling, illegal dumping, broken water mains, potholes, drainage problems, missed heavy trash pickup, illegal dumping, like those are like our big things, but they did just add a new category for storm debris collection. And I would say use it liberally. Go through and report as many of those as you can, just because it'll help define where the problems are, and then we'll help make sure that they get everything as being picked up. That's 2 questions. You had yours first.
Question on the storm debris. I've noticed some people piling their storm debris on cars.
That destroys.
And
the
it's
park.
more than just that. Like there's one house, and it looks like a house where they could bring it forward to have people pick it up. And they've got all their old fence. A fence fell down and they pull their mesh out and put it on the Esplanade. It's not just there, but that's one I find really exciting. If they take out their old fence, shouldn't they pay for that?
Ideally.
All they have to do is putting it on park is really.
That's, no, I just put a follow-up. I can follow up with the council members.
Everywhere.
All down Park? It's all down Park?
It's 46 and 47.
Trees gotta be 30 inches diameter.
Oh, yeah.
Or we just stack up.
That's a tree. Yeah, total tree.
That's a lot of fence.
That's not where it started.
Yeah, but they don't want the grass to die, so they're gonna finesse up.
I would definitely, so if what you can do is you can report it on 311, but I can escalate to the mayor's office if it's something that's particularly bad. And since the park is technically, I think we can argue that it's part of Parks and Rec. I'm happy to escalate any of these that y'all need. So I do it all the time and I have no shame in doing it. So if you want to do that.
It's actually in the back of the house.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll submit it and you can send it to me and I'm happy to escalate for you. But I do have a follow-up with our,
On the beginning, but their driveways on park.
so I do have a follow-up with Councilmember Martinez's office to make sure that we get the Park Street Esplanade addressed.
Question. About the local water main. The one I'm really concerned about, considering the fact that our water rates keep going up. The one over here about what used to be the Amazon or the Macy's warehouse store. Been running for 2 weeks and nobody
They're
done
not
that.
doing anything with it. Where it goes to you pay for church to the 45.
Macy's.
Where, yeah, I know, when they.
That's interesting, that road before, and it was on both sides of the parking lot. It's broken again.
I thought I saw it just reported again, but I'm happy to go back and check. I'll go check. Okay. As again, talking about train blockages, I know that this is something that we need to stay on top of. Our community just deserves to not have our intersections blocked. So just continue to report to the FRA because like Mason said, when we start to say, hey, there's a problem, they look at the data and they're like, there's no report. So I'm happy to go to bat for y'all about this. I'm committed to it, as y'all know, but I need the data to back me up. So just please continue to report the stop trains. And this is usually if it's after 10, 15 minutes, that's when it's probably best to report. And there is a QR code. Carol Alvarado sent out a mail out about this, and it's got a little QR code that takes you directly to the FRA block crossing portal. So you can scan that, or you can just fra.gov/block crossings, or you can just Google FRA block crossings portal and it will pull it up. It's really easy to use on your phone. Happy to show you how to do it. It takes 2 seconds. You can just go in there, answer the questions, and then move. So to join a committee, this is the QR code to join a committee if this is something that you're interested in. I know safety, we've been working on a lot of different things here and we want to try to continue that work. Trains is always moving, always moving. That's a fun pun. And then we've got, they're not moving. They claim they're in the business of moving, but they're not moving. So
Make that bigger.
I don't think that I can, but if you want to just send it,
It's all on that link tree public thing. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it is.
The public documents link is on the tree and you can get to it from.
Oh, thank you.
And if there's something specific you want to join, that we talked about, you're welcome to just message me. We can get you on something. All right, so a few things that are happening. Fit Houston is holding weekly walks at Mason Park at 6:30 on Thursdays. So I put this Thursday, May 6th at 6 p.m. every week. Last week, Councilmember Martinez was out there. So you can go out there and walk with everybody. I think they had a good 40, 50 people out there last time. So it's a great walk to be able to get out there. I am a huge dog walker, so you can bring your dogs. It's great. Coffee with the council member, Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m., 1710 Telephone Road. So that's something you can do. He does have a sign up. It's not required, but it's just to kind of help kind of determine how much food that they need. So if that's something that you want to attend, feel free to go. I know that I've already signed up. I signed up within the first 5 minutes of them sending that. South Central HPD has a PIP meeting, and that's a positive interaction program where they talk about safety and concerns in your area. So that's something that you can go and speak to very specific concerns that you have. And that's June 18th at the substation on St. Emmanuel. 2020, yeah, it's something like that. Yep. And then Paul knows it all. Paul goes to everyone. I go to East Side, he goes to Paul. He goes to South Central. So June 26th, the super neighborhood is having the Gonzalez Law Firm talk about SB4. They're doing it in English and in Spanish. So that's something that if you're interested in, please go, because they're going to talk about the law, what it means, and your rights. So that's something that's I personally think would be really helpful, especially for our community that would really benefit from hearing about it. We just had TxDOT come talk about the 45 realignment. In July, TxDOT's going to come back and talk about the Wayside US 90 project. And then in August, we're tentatively going to have Houston Public Works come speak about these different projects, how they work with us, and how we can better advocate for our community when these projects do come in, because we've learned through the last couple of meetings that they don't have any community representation for TxDOT about these projects. So that's something that we're working to change very quickly. And then, of course, our next meeting here is August 5th at 6:30 p.m. We do not have a July meeting because we're going to be celebrating July 4th. So we hope to see you in August. And if there's anything I missed, y'all are welcome to.
There's voting happening.
Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. If you don't know, there's voting. Is this on?
It's on. It's just.
So there is we just had the primary runoffs. That is over. Now we are having the local election runoffs. It's a mouthful. It's like the fourth election in probably 2 months or 3 months. It's a bit over. But
That's going now.
that is happening starting today. The elections are for it's now called Harris Central Appraisal District, formerly Harris County Appraisal District. In a recent, I think it's a Texas proposition ballot last year, November. If your county is bigger than a certain size, you have to have public elections for board members and your appraiser. There are 2 of those races of the 3 that went to run. Long story short, the voting is happening now until June 11th. That's the early voting, and election day is June 15th. We do not have in this neighborhood a polling place. There are polling places at 1019 Congress, that's downtown. That's the basically near the courthouse. 6960 Rustic, that is the Pecan Park HCC. And then also 3206 Cleburne, which is TS. And that is all I know about those. And one other thing, no, I think you covered it.
All right, so unless anybody has any other community updates, I got y'all done in 15 minutes before the hour, so congratulations. We made up for the time that we lost last time. I appreciate everybody coming. If you have any questions, you can always come hang out with me. You got the board members around, and we look forward to continue seeing y'all around. Thank you. Oh, perfect.